Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is a really good opportunity to view them.
What's inside is all the history and the story, and
the story of making it too, huh?
Yeah, it's
how they carved it.
Yeah, and South Dakota history.
I guess it's limestone, huh? So, I guess Lincoln conscripted a lot of troops, and then you've got up there the older Roosevelt, Teddy, and he was kind of trying to be a butcher out there in Cuba and other places. Who else do you have? George Washington. In some ways, George Washington, caught the stride of the moment, and it was probably the right rebellion because the British weren't too caring about America. But just because the British didn't care about America didn't mean that the colonists did care about all the citizens here and all the people here. And so it's kind of like who else is up there?
Okay, Washington, then Lincoln, then that guy with the round glasses that has the weird mustache.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay. And then, that's it.
No, there's a fourth one. Nixon?
No.
Jefferson?
Yeah.
So then lastly, Jefferson, I think, did free his slaves at the urging of Benjamin Banneken.
Are you guys okay?
No, they're probably just taking their time. I think he did, and I think also that Jefferson was, he had sex with some of the slaves, which is kind of sort of rapey, sort of sexy. Like, I don't know what that situation is like. Maybe some of them he actually cared about a lot, right?
Yeah. That is kind of sexy a little bit. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't really see that feeling from many documentaries.
No, and that's like something that's really interesting because the babies would be light skin, and then they would keep them in the house, and they could just be like maids, and then the darker ones would have to like be picking the cotton and all that kind of stuff and deal with the whips and all.
Well, and also gender impacts things too. But then I think that one of the disasters is that when you come out with some portrait of that part of American history, like The Help. Did you see The Help? There was a lot of criticism of The Help because the, workers came in and they, was discriminated against. They were hurt. And yet they loved the babies, right? And so it was like, and who doesn't love a baby? But the notion that they were presenting that as if they loved their jobs and this was, the best world that they could ever have imagined isn't reality. And so people like Melissa Harris Perry and the people that show up on her show promote that discussion almost to the point where there was a worker there with her, a home worker, kind of like The Help. And she was, she talked about having tender moments with the people that she cared for, and she was almost like seen as a dissenting view, even though she was giving firsthand, experiences. She was saying, yes, we do grow attached to the families that we work for, and it does matter to us, right? And one of the other difficulties is, even supposing that you can try and work towards a tierless society where everybody is equal. Supposing you do that, then what typically ends up actually happening is you sweep away the slaves from the vision of the people. And so people aren't aware that there are people picking their, say, raspberries or people, out there getting bananas or something that aren't making any money at all and that are living essentially slave lives. And so if you make it So, like, other people have this case to be that isn't really being made, that I don't know what character it would have if it was made. But the idea is just that, okay, some people are in a lower class of society, so get over that. And, deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I don't know if that's the right thing, like, but I just think that I'm just saying, like, if you had a caretaker in your house, well, right now, okay, I'm here, and I want to help you and everything, and I care about you. And you abuse me sexually, just like Thomas Jefferson did, right? And yet you own the house, and you have the ability to boot me and all this stuff. And then you got, the emo diary out there, and she wanted me to be in her house. But when she failed to be able to abuse me sexually, she, kicked me out of the house. And it wasn't as cut and dry as just like, you aren't giving me the sex, you get out of the house.
But you think...
But once she came on to me, I tried to be friends, but she was just gruff all day, all the time. She's just sad, and she didn't want to...
After she found out that you were not interested, or just in general, that's who she is?
I don't know, right? And I think that part of one and part of the other, right? And I think that, also she's just got a 1-bedroom apartment, right? So it's a hard life to live that way. But at the same time, so, okay, we have a lower class in society. If you make it so that it's taboo to reach out to that class, then it's going to be more difficult to address the realities that class faces. And we've made it so taboo, right? We've made it really hard for people to reach out to the poorest people, because, of course, the poorest people sometimes are having a really tough life, so just being reached out to hurts them. And then also, feelings are involved, and then also you want to...
It hurts because...
And also you can't help them always.
It hurts because it probably makes them aware of, like, where they're at,
And it makes you jealous when you feel that.
Yes.
And this the thing
so they
is...
refuse help.
And then, especially if you're going in the down direction. If you're going in the up direction, like you're from India or something, and you get trained, and then you come out to... Pittsburgh had a lot of people from remote villages. If they're headed up, perspective has everything to do with it. If you're headed up, then everything you get feels good. But then your mind is even more divided than that. So for instance, I'm headed up philosophically. So everybody that comes out as an egalitarian or discusses egalitarian issues or talks about censorship and recognizes that nigger is highly censored, anything like that, that's me going up, right? And I feel good about it. I feel great. But then I'm coming down economically. I was spoiled. I had that, trust fund. I had all these advantages. And then when it runs out,
it's like they could have been great stepping stones, but you kind of just milked it or whatever.
I thought that I was creating a situation where I would have it as a stepping stone. Because I thought I was developing my personal story and my reputation for something better. But I wasn't, because nobody cares about you. I mean, you make a reputation, and if you have to fight for that reputation, then whoever you fight against... Like, especially if all it is you're just trying to self-promote. Like, they don't want you to self-promote. People don't want you to succeed. Unless you're really charming, or you've got, musical talent, or you've got art talent or something. And if the self-promotion that you make comes at the expense of others, then they judge you really harsh, right?
Yeah. Because they always brought up black people all the time.
Well, and that's the thing, is that I'd love if they did bring up black people a little better. They kept bringing them up and, like, why say nigger when black people still exist? Well, and that's what. So language evolves too, and that nigger means human is something that benefits black people, along with other people.
Mm-hmm. And I really haven't seen many people like in your interviews that are black that have a problem with it.
Yeah, in fact, even when I'm massively awkward, they manage to hold themselves together really well. The baby's stirring a little bit, but she's still asleep. Yeah, black people have dealt with nigger, and they understand it on some levels. And it's not like, niggeritarianism isn't... It's not like I'm trying to revive words. Nigger and nigga are words that still have a pulse to them, and they've changed direction. And so it's not like I'm trying to say, let's all be, and I'll pick a random angry slur against somebody. Like, this is the most censored word in the world right now.
Yeah, I feel like that it's the most censored word in the... Well, is it world?
Well, in the world, yeah, because English is such a prominent language, but I think that there are other languages out there that have censored topics, certainly.
Oh, yeah, especially, like, places like China or whatever, where they censor a lot of stuff for their people.
Everything, practically, yeah. And so, actually, censorship, when it gets onto topics and onto individual rights, becomes really complex.
But I don't know if, like, in China or India or anywhere...
You woke up. Let me give her my finger, okay?
Okay.
I love you, honey. Hi, baby. How are you? Hi. You're a cutie. Oh, and you're gripping your blanket so tight. You're so beautiful. Whether I commit suicide, that's the plan, right? It's a crazy plan. And I wish we could do better, and I almost feel like maybe we could, but then it's like hard, and I don't see how, and I panic, and I hurt, and I'm afraid, right? But, oh, baby. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, just to conclude, that's awesome too. Kids are great.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember, sweetie.